everyone, I'm Swapna Haddow and I am the author of the Dave Pigeon books, which are illustrated by Sheena Dempsey. Welcome to the Children's Book Spectacular channel. Make sure you subscribe if you are interested in children's books, you want to hear about book reviews and you want to hear from your favourite authors. Now, the Dave Pigeon series is all about this guy here, Dave Pigeon. Now you might notice there's something a bit unusual about this pigeon. That's right, he has his wing in a sling. Now the first book came out in 2016 and is all about Dave and what happened to him when he meets a very mean cat. The series has grown, it's won many awards and gone on to go into 4 books that Sheena Dempsey and I have worked on together. And the latest book is Dave Pigeon Royal Coup, which comes out in March, in time for World Book Day. So it's a lovely sparkly edition and I hope you guys enjoy reading it. And it's all about what happens to Dave and his best friend Skipper when they run into some pigeon royalty. These are the kind of books you want to read if you love to have a laugh and you love pigeons. You don't even have to like pigeons. But there are stories about friendship and loyalty and also lots of mayhem and chaos. Now, those at the Children's Book Spectacular headquarters have sent me some questions in a very special jar. So I'm going to read out some of the questions and give you my answers. Here we go. What's the most challenging thing about being an author? Well, for me, it's that the publishing industry is very, very slow and I'm really impatient. So you'll be working on a story and you won't actually see your book on a shelf for another 2 years, which I find quite tricky to deal with. So you have to be very patient if you're an author or an illustrator. So let's go for another question. Here we go. If you were stuck on a desert island with any 3 fictional characters, who would you pick? Right, I think I would need my friends around me, especially a strong group of girlfriends. So here we go. I think I'm going to introduce you to who would be on the desert island with me. Of course, Hattie the Bad, because she's utterly hilarious. And I think the name of our little crew would probably be the Knickers crew. So I think Hattie the Bad would definitely be in there. I think I'd also have Clever Polly in with us because Polly is pretty good at coming up with plans in case we were sort of set upon by wolves. Should be very handy to have around. And I think also I would go for Marigold Heavenly Nostrils, who is Phoebe's unicorn, because I always fancied having a pet unicorn. Okay, right, next question. Here we go. Where did Dave Pigeon come from? So I get asked this a lot, and I think probably before I moved to New Zealand, because that's where I live at the moment, I lived in London where I was surrounded by pigeons. There was always an idea for a pigeon somewhere in the back of my mind. And I saw a competition come up for the Greenhouse Funny Prize and I thought, well, I could write a story about a pigeon. Pigeons are funny. And this is something that people don't really know. The first ever version of Dave Pigeon was actually Pat Pigeon. And I wrote this story and it was not that funny. And I thought, well, I can't submit this for the Funny Prize. So I reworked the story and I told the story from the point of view of a pigeon and I renamed him Dave. And that's kind of where this story came from, just being inspired by all the pigeons that were pooing on the cars down our street. So that's where the idea came from. Okay, right, next question we have is, how long does it take for you to write a book? That's a really tough one because it really depends on the book. So writing Dave probably takes me about a month. You know, I'll probably write it for about a week and then I'll put it aside so that I can clear my brain and come back to it with fresh eyes, and then I'll go over it and edit it. And then it goes to my editor who then comes back to me, and we go back and forth and we correct the text. And then it will go to Sheena, who illustrates the books, and she comes up with her roughs first, and then it goes back to the art director, who sort of places the text and the roughs and tries to work out where everything goes. And then it will go back and forth for a bit while Sheena puts together her final illustrations and the book goes to copy. And then finally, I would say about the sort of 1 year mark, it's ready to be printed. So the process of writing the book is not too long, but the process of putting the book together is quite long. Okay, one last question from the jar. We have, what was your favourite book growing up? Well, I have loads of books that I really loved growing up. I loved books that made me laugh. I loved books with illustrations. My favourite books include The Witches by Roald Dahl and illustrated by Quentin Blake. I also really love the Meg and Meg, I'm not sure which way around it went, Mog and Meg series. But one of my favourite ever books was The Lorax, because I was just completely obsessed with these incredible illustrations and the rhyming text. And I really loved this story because it made me think about the world around me and how I wanted to make it a lot better for animals and for the people that lived on the planet. But look how amazing those illustrations are. So I would say probably one of my favourite books was The Lorax. Thank you so much for having me. Remember to subscribe to the Children's Book Spectacular channel. See you soon. Bye!